the floor as we're just about ready to get things going here at the Pitt here in Pittsburgh. And this is the 13th meeting between the two teams. Georgia Tech holds an 8-4 lead in this series, with the Panthers winning the last meeting in Atlanta. That one went into double overtime as Pitt starts off with the ball in this one.
It can be really interesting to see the many different ways that Georgia Tech will play and try to keep the ball away from Leah King.
You can see how far Georgia Tech is pushing Pitt outside of in their offense as a drive, but a travel call, so the first turnover of the ball game for Pitt.
Well, good defensive stance by Georgia Tech here in that first possession. Pitt going to try to slow them down a little bit with the little 2-2-1 press just to eat up some clock and to make smart decisions here against it.
You can see the starting lineup for Georgia Tech. We talked about two of the dynamic players in Dunn and Tonie Morgan as well, but I tell you what, Usna Augustinate.
We're going to get that today. We're going to get that. We're going to get that today.
Leads the ACC in field goal percentage for threes, and the only freshman on that list to do so has really been lighting it up for Georgia Tech in this season. Coach is really excited about what she provides, and so far we have a quick substitute, though, for Pittsburgh.
Well, you see Pittsburgh, they've had 7 different starting lineups. We'll get into it later about how Coach Verdi decides what his starting lineup is going to be, but you'll see a lot of kids coming in. You see Pittsburgh here in that zone. You very rarely will see them play defense, so Georgia Tech's going to have to solve that.
Well, this is no time than better right now. As you're looking at the starting lineup for the Panthers at the bottom, and we talked with first-year head coach Cory Verdi with Pittsburgh, and he mentioned how he chooses his starting lineup. He said it's a competitive quadrant where you are competing with points, whether it be your attitude. It even goes through shoot-around. So even if we wanted to know the starters, he didn't even have the numbers added up with his assistants until just a few moments ago. So they come down, and he said, I want them to be competitive each game. This is their 7th lineup starting rotation. So these players understand they have to be consistent and are held accountable in order to get the starting nod.
And I think it's a great way of him explaining to them that, you know, control the controllables. You can always control your effort, your communication, your hard work, and he rewards the players that do that.
Georgia Tech with another bucket.
I like this kid, Augusta Naite. She is a scorer. She can shoot threes. She can get to the rim.
And a 3-ball on the other side for the Panthers.
Malcolm, the second leading scorer for Pittsburgh.
They really needed that bucket as well. They had 3 turnovers in their previous 3 possessions as the Panthers come down with a rebound. Mind you, they got off to a very slow start against Notre Dame. We're down as many as 15, and were able to really come back. And it was a thrilling finish, actually, as they had their second game of their homestand, currently on a 4-game homestand, and dropping that previous one, but had the lead with 4 minutes left in the 4th.
Well, I thought as a young team, they showed a lot of resilience and stick-to-itiveness against Notre Dame in that game on Thursday.
That was another outside shot that was attempted by the Panthers. Bounce pass to no avail as there's a steal and a turnover for Georgia Tech.
And Georgia Tech needs to take better care of the basketball. Just take the easy thing that's there for you. You see here, you're very rarely going to see Leah King one-on-one. There's always going to be another blue jersey somewhere around her.
Fortner said she wants to muck it up just a little bit for Leah King, knows that she can score in many different ways. She said you'll see the dig, you'll see the double, just wants to make sure that everybody is on the same page and communicating where she is on the floor. As you're looking at Neil Fortner in her 5th season as a Georgia Tech head coach.
See Pitt try to get a lot of motion on the perimeter and then find spaces for King to penetrate one-on-one.
You can see their last few possessions have been really deep into the shot clock. Right now, 4 to work with, the drive, and that's taken away.
And that's a successful defensive stance if you're Georgia Tech, because you're getting someone else other than King to take the shot.
Sophomore Tonie Morgan, as we talked about the many different ways that she leads this team in her sophomore season. Second in scoring on the team, but steals, rebounds as well.
She is one of the best rebounding guards in the ACC.
The best returning rebounder for Georgia Tech. Blackshear able to pick that one back up, but turns it over.
Consistency is something that Coach Fortner is really looking for from Georgia Tech, and you can see it from game to game, but you can see it within these first 5 minutes of them not doing the things that they need to do on a consistent basis.
You gotta like the attack, especially baseline by Jasmine Timerson. Had the outstretched arms of the Yellow Jackets in the paint, but still found a nice look on the baseline.
And she had some really good minutes, career high 31 minutes, 8 points against Notre Dame on Thursday. I thought she played really well. I thought she played calm, was not scared of the moment, and she's gonna get more time as a result.
Tonight picks up the foul. This is the second of the pair, and I didn't want to jinx anything, but it's
I know, that's why I didn't say anything either. Let her shoot first, and then we'll talk about the free throw.
That's not an area that the Panthers can improve in, coming in, shooting just 68% from the charity stripe. Blackshear finds something on the left, but couldn't connect at the rim. Aislin Malcolm slips in, close to a turnover. Tonie Morgan couldn't pick it up, and right now you can feel like the pace and the tentativeness for both sides as we had some early turnovers for both.
Yeah, but Pitt's going to have to figure out how to score without King initially. They're going to have to start setting up some things so that they can isolate her. And Malcolm is one of the other players that can score for them. And then Georgia Tech just need to be more diligent with the ball, get better angles passing into the post, as you see there.
So Jordan picks up the foul there. This will be the first break of the ball game. So as they step aside, we'll do the same with the 2-point edge for the Yellow Jackets.
You and auto owners help make it possible. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Excuse me?
Starting to progress and trend in the right direction.
Yeah, in large part because of the incremental individual improvement that a lot of the Georgia Tech players have had from last year to this year. But one area that I know they just talked about in timeouts was turnovers. They've got 5 turnovers in 5 minutes. Got to take better care of the basketball. And you see them coming right out, going right to Kara Dunn. Nice play to get her started.
It's their first 2 points that they didn't get that came off of turnovers. The previous 5 were. So the Panthers entering today's match, dropping 4 of their last 5, so very different, the opposite for both sides, as there's another turnover for Pitt.
Yeah, just a great pass, wide open, showed the numbers, and then no help there really, and able to finish with contact. See, there is where you're going to get this matchup zone. You're going to break it right there at mid-post, but you got to hit the shot.
Blackshear had a nice look at the rim, couldn't connect, and Leatu King now on the board.
You got to make her work for uncontested shots, and when you play good defense there, she gets opportunities in transition. Very difficult to stop her.
Seeing more of that zone that we've been privy to. They've been playing zone more in the last 2 games, so essentially all ACC. And the 3 ball, that's knocked down.
I like Maguero. She is one of the ones that people don't really talk about for Georgia Tech, but she's a quiet contributor, but she's really important to them.
And Laredo coming in with hitting her 13th 3 of the season. And a nice look underneath with the response for Jayla Jordan.
I like this Pitt team. I mean, they're resilient. They make mistakes, but they come right back. They continue to play hard. One of the concerns for Coach Fortner was that they are hungry. So that's something she wanted to make sure that her team understood in shoot-around this morning.
Well, this is a team that has been battled so far coming into ACC play. They have a 6-9 record coming into today. Actually 5-3 at home, so only getting one win on the road, but opening up against Virginia Tech, the reigning ACC champs and a Final Four team, as well as Notre Dame here.
Yeah, two tough opponents to say the least. I mean, my goodness, the talent on those two teams is unbelievable, but they held their own on Thursday against Notre Dame. Got to give them credit.
Three on the shot clock. The dish on the inside. That's rattled in, and a nice bucket underneath for Georgia Tech.
Just doing a good job, Morgan, of finding the seam there. They are pushing Georgia Tech out past the three-point line, so they've got to get in those spaces.
Kara Dunn now with 4 points, perfect from the field. Bustanate comes down with the rebound. Pulls up, top of the key. It'll be a long two, and drains it.
That kid is not afraid to put the ball up, and you can see her very confident body language. Just a great addition to Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech shooting 60% from the field, 2 for 2 from distance. Perkins was left outside, the transfer from USC. And that's a three ball that will go down as Bustanate knocks down back-to-back triples for Georgia Tech, which leads to a timeout. You would see and hope that there is an adjustment on the other side because she's been lighting it up.
Bustanate, you got to get in front of that kid in transition. She is going to let it fly. Do not make the mistake of going behind the screen. She's going to make you pay.
Georgia Tech on a 7-0 scoring run at this point that led to a timeout by Tori Verdi. Helen, in that coach's chair, some adjustments that you might consider coming out.
Find a way to isolate King. She's got to get the touches. You don't want to get the ball inside unless you're getting it to her. That's not necessarily a great shot there. I'm not sure that's something that Coach Verdi drew up.
And Battle with the miss on the other end. Bustanate hovered on the baseline, but then you have Kara Dunn. So this is where it comes to. You see Rusna, who is held up on the baseline, but then the balance of Georgia Tech right now that we're seeing, they can spray it out anywhere on the floor.
Yeah, 4 out of the 5 starters average double figures, and Kara Dunn, like I said, has made herself a really reliable 3-level scorer, but her specialty is in that mid-range area.
Corner three, that one's knocked down. The second three. So Bella Perkins knocks that down. Now Pittsburgh coming into this game last in conference for threes, the 3-point field goal percentage. So this is a team that said they want to have a little bit more balance in that area.
Yeah, I think Perkins is the perfect person for them. She is a really good 3-point shooter. Hasn't given them what she's capable of, and Coach Verdi's hoping that she'll have a breakout game here fairly soon.
Laredo couldn't knock down the shot on the other end. See a slower pace from both sides of the floor. That three is short for Perkins.
That's what Pitt did to Notre Dame on Thursday. They slowed the game down, and Notre Dame wanted to run, but they got into foul trouble. Pitt did a great job with that. They have a way of making teams play ugly.
Well, 5 seconds left on the game clock. There'll have to be a heave, and it's actually going to be held up as there was no way that Aislin Malcolm can get that one off. So the first quarter comes to an end. Georgia Tech with a 9-point edge.
Well, Georgia Tech doing a good job in the conference, but they have people who can shoot and make 3-pointers. So that's a good sign for them from this first quarter.
Tori Verdi said he likes how his team is coming together, the chemistry continuing to build. Just wanting them to play for one another. So I think another category he would like is that they have 4 assists on the 4 made field goals that they have.
And I do think one of the things that we have not seen is King only has 2 shot attempts, and they've got to give her the ability to have more.
Adonas was guarding her one-on-one on the baseline. So really able to hold her own, as that's another toss away for the Panthers.
But it's got to be given to her in the right circumstances. You see her trying to force it to her there, and you get the turnover. And then Georgia Tech gives it back with the double dribble from Augusta Naite. Got to get the defense of Georgia Tech moving so you can get Leah Chu King on the move and let her do her thing.
I would just like to see the shot attempts there, because right now turnover is a problem for both sides. Panthers with 6, Georgia Tech with 4.
So Georgia Tech switching to a zone here.
So a foul goes against Georgia Tech. It will stay with the Panthers. So Kayla Blackshear picks up her first personal foul. Kayla Blackshear, the junior out of Orlando, Florida, actually transferred in from Alabama. Had 6 points in their win over Virginia. And that came down to free throws as well, as another 3-ball Helen is knocked down for the Panthers. This one coming from Jasmine Timerson.
I told you, she was not afraid against Notre Dame the other night. You see her coming. She earned more minutes and doing great things with the minutes that she's getting.
That is just her second 3 of the season. She came in just 1 for 7. A lot of contact underneath. And a scary fall. So Rappalucci Iodell took a very awkward fall, a very hard fall underneath. Just happy to see that she was able to get up. Cold tub later?
For sure. For sure. Look at every time King gets the ball, she's got 3 people on her. And that's what's going to have to happen. I asked Coach Verdi earlier today, what happens when you're not able to get the ball to King? What do you expect of the others? And he said, we want them to cut. We want them to be aggressive and take advantage of the opportunities that they're given. And that's a perfect example. Malcolm with the 3.
Aislin Malcolm actually shooting 40% from 3. 22nd 3 that's knocked down for her this season. As Kara Dunn just continues to be all over the floor. I think one of the best points of her game is that she's just so versatile. Playing out of position.
Yeah, she really should be a 3, but they're playing her at the 4.
Had the hard hedge at the top of the key. Bella Perkins comes off the screen. Couldn't drop it down, but Leah Chu King couldn't get a shot off, stepping out of bounds.
See everybody against King there. There's 2 people on her, 3 people on her. Somebody's going to be open, and you've got to make Georgia Tech pay like Malcolm did with the 3.
It's 8 for 17 in her last 5 games from distance. Knocks down the one in the previous play. Is that 3-ball? Kara Dunn with back-to-back buckets.
Kara Dunn against King in their stats. That's something we want to keep an eye on, because they're the 2 most versatile players for their teams.
Kara Dunn, the only player in double figures. She has 11 points and perfect from the field. A lot of attention on the inside. Passed out, short shot clock again. Bella Perkins knocks it down.
Yeah, Augusta Naite, too much help there. You got to know your personnel. No need for her to get that far into the lane, and then Georgia Tech turns it over.
Have the tables turned. 5 triples now for the Panthers. Bella Perkins knocking down her 2nd.
Yeah, you see they're moving the ball pretty well, not panicking. Augusta Naite right there is on their player. Watch her go all the way into the paint. No need to be there. Loses her player wide open. Perkins there for the 3-pointer.
So just a 5-point game. As Bella Perkins takes the bump, she'll get 2 free throws coming up.
I like that play. Just a really nice back cut there gone out by Coach Verdi, giving Perkins the opportunity to score and layup. This is a good sign for Pitt that she's active and she's scoring for them.
So Sydney Johnson picks up the foul there. That'll be her first as Perkins at the free throw line. First free throws of the day. She drains the first one. Shooting 75% from the free throw line, and you would think that after that timeout, Tory Verdi is very pleased with what he's seen as far as the effort from his team.
Well, he's one of the best at creating and drawing up opportunities and taking advantage of mismatches when he comes out of timeouts. We talked to him about that earlier today. You see Pitt here in the 1-1-3 sort of. It kind of almost looks like a 1-3-1, but it's a 1-1-3. You want to keep that ball out of the middle.
So a lot of stoppage of play because of the fouling on both ends of the floor now, as Georgia Tech will get an opportunity at the nail. So Kara Dunn will step up to the free throw line, as we mentioned, off to a great start so far, 11 points, 5 for 5 from the field, and perfect so far from the free throw line as well. Well, coming up next, our women's basketball quadruple header rolls on with number 22 Florida State and Clemson. And the day is capped off at 6 Eastern by BC and number 25 Syracuse. How about Boston College also taking down Miami just a game ago? Miami also dropped their first game at home, so they won 19 straight home games before Louisville went down there and picked up their second ACC win.
A lot of... You have your list of who's supposed to finish where. You see Jordan there with the nice half hook, but it's a competitive league. You got to be ready to play every single night.
Dunn turns around, and her night continues. 13 points now for her.
See, that's how you make them pay. You watch the next time, see if the middle of that zone comes up, and she's going to drive to the basket.
Coming off a game where she was just 2 for 9 from the field and had the 8 points. Already with 15 after that last bucket. Bella Perkins can find an outlet. Here comes Kara Dunn. Doesn't have the numbers, takes it anyway, and when you're that type of player,
she's hurt.
Of course you can do it.
She's hurt. The game she's had here, this stretch, the last 2 games, is unbelievable. And so that's an early shot. I think he could have had a little bit more patience. Would have come around, he would have been more open.
Kara Dunn decided to turn down that 3. Found Tonie Morgan, the in and out. Un Ananas.
Got to hit that shot. That middle was wide open.
So a little bit under the halfway mark of the second quarter here. Short shot clock once again. Bella Perkins working the baseline, finds the hands of Timerson, but that one off.
Liu King, only 2 shot attempts still here in the first half.
You can hear on the sideline Tory Verdi saying, hey, we need to pick up the pace a little bit here, but I'm not sure if he wanted a 3 out of the first look of the offense.
One thing that can happen is when you do start to hit some threes, you get a little shot happy from behind the line and don't have any patience. It's great if you keep hitting, but you need to have a little bit more patience there and be more open when they move the ball around.
Kara Dunn finds the look, drains it.
3-level score.
The hot hand continues. Kara Dunn now has 20 points.
So now you see Pitt struggling for other people to score. They're more open when they get King the ball and she can score, but they have not been able to get it to her.
That is the first miss for Kara Dunn. Found herself underneath the basket as Perkins actually poked from behind. Morgan able to get a hand in. So Georgia Tech right now on a 9-0 run over the last 3 minutes, and look no further than Kara Dunn, who has been on fire. Has a total of 20 points in 15 minutes. Yeah, she's her.
Every year, thousands of athletes disappear in clutch moments due to falling hydration levels.
What are you seeing in her play so far?
Well, 3-level score, I keep saying that, mid-range. And then she can hit the three-point shot. Nice little pass there from Morgan. And then hitting layups as well. She is scoring everywhere, and when she's able to do that, she's going to pull that zone out so she can create some opportunities for the rest of her teammates. Plus, she had that really cool back, back run after she scored.
That.
Yeah,
I think you like this even more. Her play so far in ACC. She already saw Florida State. She had 24 points in that game, and then 24 points in their win over Virginia. Already, we had 3 minutes left in this first half, and she has 20 points.
Well, she spent a lot of time just working to improve her game, according to Coach Fortner, and most notably her three-point range, which is significantly improved, but every part of her game is better than it was last year. I mean, you have one of your best players that's doing that. It's a great example for the rest of your team to follow.
It's her 6th game this season with at least 20 points and continuing to build on it. And it's interesting how she's doing it as well, Helen. 20 points in 4 of her last 5, including a 39-point game that she had as well.
And it's from everywhere on the floor, so how do you prepare for her?
Augustinate off from the wing has gone cold since the first quarter. She knocked down those 2 triples. Right now sitting with 7 points, and it's just been a struggle for the Panthers on the inside. They're now 0 for 7 in their last few trips down the floor.
Well, they were trying to go inside the last couple of possessions there, the traditional into your post, and it hasn't worked out for them these last 2 possessions. So you see King come back in.
Leah King has only attempted 2 shots so far today, has the 2 points, 3 rebounds in her 17 minutes of play. A trap at the baseline had to be sprayed out. Usna could knock that one down. Malcolm, 1 too many steps. You can see them trying to pick up the pace just a little bit after that last timeout, but not one to see those turnovers that we saw at the beginning of the game where they had an early 6.
Well, they trapped and tried to get more aggressive with that zone. They were able to get the ball, but you can't give it right back to the team with a turnover after you get the steal.
Panthers right now with 10 turnovers and are approaching the 5-minute mark as far as a scoring drought, as Leah King able to block that one out, and Georgia Tech will actually have to give that one up. So Leah King with a good look and defensive block on the other side. So an opportunity for the Panthers here in much need of a bucket.
It's about the only time King's gotten her hand on the ball is offensive rebounds and get an opportunity finally to go to the free throw line.
And her second attempt is able to get fouled, so she'll get 2 free throws.
I think she has to be the first option for Pitt, but you've got to get some more movement on the perimeter from the rest of the players and give Georgia Tech credit for the 2 and 3 people that they put around her initially, and after she puts the ball on the floor, everything is contested. The only wide open shot is the one she had in transition.
King knocks down the second of the pair, and that's when you'll see more of that full court pressure from the Panthers.
And you can't press if you don't score.
And that's their first point in over 4.5 minutes. Augustinate has struggled from outside, has missed the last 4 threes.
And that was just a tremendous job of cutting to the basketball with effort, with force, and that's, I believe, Augustinate's 3rd foul. Oh, her second.
Just her second.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. They can't, that was a huge mismatch there with her on Augustinate.
But Leah King now with the Panthers in the bonus for the final minute of this half. We'll get 2 free throws here. So it's been a struggle as far as the rhythm. We saw coming out of that timeout a couple of threes that were knocked down for the Panthers. You say, okay, now it's going to start freeing some things up underneath. What needs to be the adjustment now and then going in, coming after halftime?
I think just more movement and more patience. Change sides of the floor with the basketball. And I think getting King, just like on that last possession, coming hard to ball side from weak side to make Georgia Tech make an adjustment there.
Last minute of play, Tonie Morgan gets her own miss, still short. Kara Dunn able to track it down with the reset shot clock. Takes the bump and gets the bucket.
Kara Dunn, just constant movement there. You watch her and you watch Tonie Morgan, they are always trying to go after those offensive rebounds. The coach talked earlier today about getting more opportunities from offensive rebounds and getting those second shots. You see the shot here, the hoop and the harm, but giving themselves more opportunities, going to the offensive glass harder.
So Gabby Hutcherson picks up the foul there, just the first, and that rims out for Dunn. Morgan tried to see if she can poke it away, took a
I think she got the
hand
worst
to the
of
mouth
that.
as well. So free throws on the way, and Morgan may be checking out of this ball game. You can see her continuing to hold at her mouth.
Just trying to chip it away. Ow. Yeah, that one hurts.
Initially said the hand, but a shoulder might be a little bit worse. Molly Washington at the free throw line for the Panthers. Another player shooting over 70% from the free throw line this season. Had 0 points against Notre Dame and couldn't connect on that second one.
Plenty of time here to move the ball around and get a good shot, get the ball into the free throw line around that ACC area, and then go to work from there against this zone.
About 2 seconds between game and shot clock. Johnson sends it cross court. Aviance pulls up just short. 2 seconds to work with, but it will be held up. We'll see where the ball will go, and it will stay with Georgia Tech. So they have .6, enough for a shot to get off.
Enough for them to throw the ball to Kara Dunn.
That's what you would draw up? They do just
nice
that,
block.
But then they meet it by Leah 2 King, so the plot thickens as this one is going to be concluded at halftime, 35-24 in Georgia Tech.
So I think that Pitt's going to have to find ways to isolate her. They have 13 bench points, which is normally good for a team, but not for Pitt, because that means that Leah 2 King has only had 3 shot attempts in 20 minutes, and that's got to change.
Mind you, Leah to add to that as well right now with 5 points, also in the top 5 in scoring in the ACC, averaging about 20 points per game. So do we say offense needs to be a little bit different and sharper for the Panthers, or Georgia Tech just doing that good a job on the defensive end?
I would say a little bit of both. They've got to get the ball to her, and then she's got to be aggressive. She can't be tentative. If she has any space, she needs to take advantage of the mismatch that she has. She tried to pass the ball there, which is not a bad decision, but and she's got to be a little bit more selfish. If she can find that space, she's got to be a little bit more selfish.
On the other side for the Panthers, they have 7 field goals, 7 assists on them as well. As Leah 2 King able to get the steal and the bucket, so that's another different way that she can get on the board.
Uncontested. She's in transition, able to score, and then she gets almost another one.
Yeah, got her hand on that one.
Just a slow pass, and she read that. That was just like a cornerback doing a pick 6 there. Just read it and jumped the route.
Then too, as one of the leaders for this team, just finding ways to lead in different ways. Coach Verdi said he wants her to be a little bit more vocal, but as a player, over the last couple of seasons with the Panthers. She's tried to lead by example. The dish on the inside that Blackshear goes.
Great example of not getting impatient, finding the space, get into that middle of that zone either by the dribble or the pass, and able to knock it down there. A lot of contact there, no call.
Right, a lot of contact. Iredale not able to knock down either of those attempts at the rim. Augustinaite has been quiet.
That's the second pass they've had where they penetrated in that zone, gotten the ball to Blackshear. Second time they've been able to score.
So Blackshear now with 4 points. Only 3 players had scored in the first half for Georgia Tech. That was a combined 35 points. And as we highlighted at halftime, we know where the bulk of that came from.
Pitt only getting 1 opportunity at the basket.
Morgan sends it outside. Augustinaite knocks that one down.
She's a kid that she's not going to stop shooting. And that's the reason why. She can hit those.
Hit 2 earlier in the game, and then Malcolm responds with a triple of her own.
Yeah, you can see Tonie Morgan looking at coach like, yeah, that's my fault. My hands were down.
That's the 3rd 3 for Malcolm.
Nice pass. Again, in the middle of that zone.
Bobbled around a little bit. Blackshear finds the ball. Couldn't connect, and we'll see where this foul goes. And it's going to go against Georgia Tech. So that will go against Blackshear.
Yeah, just penetrating here, and nice little shot there by Augustinaite. And then Malcolm says, well, if nobody's going to guard me, then I'm just going to shoot.
So Blackshear picks up her 3rd personal foul, as we've seen a couple of threes get knocked down by both sides to start this 3rd quarter. YouTube King with the face-up. We have a foul that's actually going to be assessed. We'll see who it goes against. As you can see, Rushin was trying to hold off on the other side to get that rebound. Aislin Malcolm checks in the ball game for Georgia Tech. The senior out of Spain. So the last 3 possessions for Georgia Tech, we've seen the 3 ball.
Yeah, and I think that it's from the penetration from Morgan that they're getting those opportunities.
Aaron Battle sends it to the corner for Jasmine Timerson, just short, as Morgan, the best rebounder for Georgia Tech, comes down with the rebound.
That was a nice, strong rebound. You know, one of the things I love about her is that she will probe and probe and probe and probe until she finds an opportunity, whether it's for herself or for her teammate. Somebody's got to get in front of the basketball. She goes baseline, baseline. Nobody hits her, picks her up. A nice little look there for the layup. Again, just nice little bit of English on that, but that's okay. We're back.
Welcome back to the Pete. Well, the Girl Scouts have completely taken over the arena, as it's the held to her game as well as the Girl Scouts game. You can see a couple of the Girl Scouts in attendance with some nice signs, also showing off some of their badges as well. And so we wanted in on some of this action. So we were given 2 of these amazing badges. It's the Pittsburgh Girl Scout badge. So I never had the opportunity or the honor of being in Girl Scouts. I don't know about you. You have Girl Scout written all over you.
I wanted to play out in the street.
Okay, well,
baseball, football, basketball. I didn't get
what I'm
to the
most
Girl
disappointed
Scout.
at, all these signs, all these badges, were the Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, that's
and
true. They're not even on sale yet.
They're not on sale yet. So this is one of those ads where you're just like, stay tuned.
Is this false advertising?
It's not false advertising. It's just saying get ready for it. Tag-alongs, those are my favorite ones. Thin Mints, yours?
Well, I didn't know that the Girl Scouts had vegan cookies. So,
I know
yeah,
you're elated.
So I'm elated. I'm definitely going to have to purchase some now because I thought it was nice play. Execute out of timeout, isolating her, coming from the weak side to the strong side. Do you think Coach heard me?
I think he heard you, or maybe he had a stash of Thin Mints in the back that he gave the team during that time.
He is one of the best at opportunities after timeouts. Hope everybody's okay.
Yeah, Tonie Morgan actually grimaced a great deal before popping up. But going back to this play that you loved.
Yeah, just swinging the basketball, just a hard cut from weak side. Somebody has to make a decision. Nice little back screen there. He is really good at X's and O's out of timeouts.
Tonie Morgan will step up to the free throw line for 2. This will be her first attempts of the ball game. It's been a quiet day so far for Tonie Morgan. Before the timeout, we saw her pick up her first points of the ball game. As she continues to add on that, averaging about 14 points per game. Her lowest of the season was 9, has scored in double figures in every single game outside of that. So when we talk about that balance, for them to have this lead and for one of the players that we highlighted in the game to be on a slow start is a privilege for, what Georgia Tech has offensively.
Yeah, we see them isolating her again, that time at the free throw line. Leah King getting the basketball in her hands. And you talk about Morgan, she has not scored, but she does have 8 rebounds, so still continuing to contribute.
Augustinate outside knocks it down.
That kid only needs a little bit of space.
In double figures as well. 4 triples so far for Augustinate.
Here's really a mismatch there. They've got Hutcherson on Kara Dunn. And now they've straightened it out a little bit with their transition defense, and they turn the ball over.
Seventh turnover for Georgia Tech. Panthers have done a better job. They had an early 10 turnovers in the first half, right now sitting at 13.
Every possession here in this second half, she has gotten the basketball on that first pass, and she's more active, and that's good for Pittsburgh.
She looks like more in rhythm, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense because they need to go to her to establish the offense.
The only player that was in double figures was Kara Dunn, as the Panthers on the other side gets the and one to go. That one goes to Bella Perkins, who has been a really nice spark for them in this lineup.
Yeah, she's got 10 points there off the steal and the and one opportunity for Perkins. She came to play today for Pittsburgh, Angel, for Pitt, and I know he's really pleased with her that she's finally starting to come around.
As we alluded to, the others in a sense outside of Leah King, Malcolm Perkins joining in that as well, 30 points, and the rest of the team just 5. But I think, too, we've seen a different look from them for the three-point area as well. As far as their field goal percentage coming into the season, 31% so far this year. Right now, they're shooting 50%.
Well, they have kids that can shoot three-pointers. You just have to make sure it's the right kid taking the right shot at the right time.
And that's on the other side, for Georgia Tech, just understanding what they have to be on the three-point line. And we've seen Augustinate, who's been able to knock it down. We've seen also Kara Dunn knock down a triple as well, as Malcolm looks to respond with the 3 of her own and does just that. Aislin Malcolm knocks down yet another 3 in this ball game.
So we talked about whether or not they were going to have King play Kara Dunn, and they don't play a whole lot of player-to-player defense, so you don't want to tire your best player out, but that's what they've got now, King guarding Kara Dunn.
Malcolm now with 4 triples on the day. Tie up underneath.
You see King getting involved in all different areas, block shots, defense, scoring. Starting to get into a rhythm.
I mean, you can just go down her resume this season and just see that she has just turned it up a notch. 5th in points, 4th in rebounds. This is just after the Notre Dame game. 4th in steals, 5th in blocks, 4th in field goal percentages. The different things that she has been able to just make her name.
So nice little play there. You had 2 people go and guard King. And they got a shot opportunity from that with the extra pass, even though they didn't make it. Good choice for the passes for Pitt.
Morgan at the rim, a bit too strong. Blackshear trying to get a hand on it. Bella Perkins turns down the 3, and the dish on the inside to King is miscued.
See, these are passes that Georgia Tech's making that I'm sure is really frustrating to Coach Fortner, because it's giving them an opportunity to score in transition where they don't have to run their half-court offense. Georgia Tech's lost a little focus here at the beginning of the 3rd quarter, but by the same token, 3rd quarter is the best quarter for Pittsburgh all season.
It's just a 9-point
true to form
game
for them. Yeah. And that's a matchup that they need to exploit there, with Morgan being guarded by Washington's.
So Georgia Tech's largest lead, 16, right now at 11. We saw in that previous play was knocked down to single digits, but the Panthers are even with Georgia Tech in this 3rd quarter, 16. Baseline drive, and that one's gonna go down. Marley Washenitz.
Great drive there, no help from the weak side. They pulled that weak side help up at the free throw line. Great execution there by Pitt.
One of their blue-collar players on this season, southpaw. So one of their 3-point shooters is Kara Dunn, misses from up top. Just to reset, Kara Dunn at 20 points at halftime. He's only scored 2 points since then. Washenitz left alone, and that rims out. Laredo finds Morgan, who's going to slow things down. Approaching the final minute to play in the 3rd quarter is Morgan.
Not much happening here for Georgia Tech. Not much ball movement.
But you got to credit, too, Washenitz was really holding Morgan to the left side or the right side of the court.
And that was definitely intentional. Got to change sides of the floor.
King picks up the foul there. That's just going to be her first as Kara Dunn steps up to the free throw line, and Leah King will also take a seat.
So smart for coach to rest her. You decide you want to put your best player defensively on their best player. You don't want her to get too tired, so down the floor a few possessions, and then you take her out to get some rest.
All right, well, we're excited about gymnastics on ACC Network Friday and Saturday night at 9 Eastern. Part of a 3-quad meets in which 4 schools compete against each other in separate sessions. They're featuring on Friday North Carolina, Arizona, Boise State, and Nebraska. The teams will be competing in 4 skills: bars, beam, vault, and floor.
You can do all those, right?
Oh, I used to try and do it in front of my dad all the time. Like, hey, can I do gymnastics? That was my first love. I would have to say the beam.
The beam?
The beam, but the floor has been incredible.
Malcolm with another 3. The others are coming to play here in the 2nd half for Pitt.
Aislin Malcolm has tied her career high in 3-pointers made, and she just continues to be that player that is lighting it up for the Panthers from outside. Morgan actually carries the ball. Okay, so this is back-to-back defensive looks for Washenitz, where we've really seen her make it hard on Morgan to get to her spot on the floor.
Yeah, she's a tough, gritty player, and that's one of her best attributes is defense.
7 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Washenitz at the top of the key. Finds Perkins, pulls up. A bit strong as Kara Dunn comes down with the rebound. But it was an impressive effort for Pitt as they're working their way back to see if they can tie this ball game up.
Well, when you play defense, you have an opportunity to get open shots there, and Malcolm has come to play in the 2nd half. Hit some 3-pointers.
in that area as well.
So King getting a little bit of rest here. I asked him earlier this morning in shoot-around, how do you figure out, he said he lets her drive that. She lets him know when she needs a little bit of rest, but it's never very long. It might be, you know, less than a minute on the game clock, but it could be 4 minutes real time. So I think they've done that really well this game today.
And forces a turnover right out of the timeout, so the Panthers will get the ball back.
This is part of what Coach Fortner was talking about, their team needing to grow and grow up and be more consistent. You have the lead, you're playing with the lead. You still got to execute on both ends of the floor.
Short on the shot. Jordan able to knock that one down. Just 2 points for her today.
Great cut there by Hutchison to get the basketball. Got to make that shot. She's had several at the basket that she hasn't been able to convert. And you see King getting ready to come back in. Real-time rest versus clock rest. Doing a great job of navigating that.
I know that we've mentioned Leah Tu King, and we just had the graphic for Aislin Malcolm. How about last season? Just 0 starts, 14 this year, and has really been a player that has put in the work to receive these minutes. Perkins had a deep three, just short.
To isolate Dunn right here. She's got Malcolm on her.
Morgan behind the back, sends it baseline.
I think they missed an opportunity there with the mismatch.
Leah Tu King now has a double-double, 11 points and 10 rebounds. Playing a little bit of hot potato in this half. So 12 turnovers for Georgia Tech, 15 for the Panthers.
You see again another mismatch. She's got a guard on her. A little slow with the offense here for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, we've seen a different type of pace from Georgia Tech in their offense. 73 points per game that they average on the season, about 67 for Pitt. And the ball just found the paws of Leah Tu King.
Well, Pitt has a way of making you play ugly, and you've seen that. And a good time out there for Coach Verdi, and haven't had very many success with these last few times down the court scoring. They're going to draw something out.
Blocks Georgia Tech 0. And here's a couple of them.
Started the first half, and nope. Not going to get that one. Here we go again. Nope. It's just, you know, she's been active. Her defense has been more active as she's gotten more involved on the offensive end, created some energy, came out, got those 2 steals at the beginning of the second half, and I think she's done a really good job of creating opportunities for herself. She didn't have those in the first half, and already at a double-double.
They average about 4 blocks per game, a little bit over that, and for them to be sitting at 8, despite even being down, for Coach Verdi to build off of something, and we already talked about even his competitive quadrant, about what he looks at and how many times people sacrifice themselves and step up for one another and protect the paint. Those are things that he has to tip his hat to.
Well, I think that's part of your identity when you're not a great offensive team, is you can create opportunities for yourself and energy off of your defense, and it's been great for them here in this third quarter, and you see her now getting the ball to Leah Tu King, letting her do her thing, and reading the defense and seeing what opportunities are there either for herself or for her teammates.
Coming into this ball game, Leah Tu King had 879 career points. She now has 19. A lot of correction there. She only has 14. Looking at this on the page, and I was like, wait a minute here.
6 seconds here on the clock. Georgia Tech doing a lot of dribbling without very much purpose in their offense.
4 on the shot clock. Morgan from the wing. Nothing but net.
She turned down a three-pointer before that, and she can shoot that shot. Just needs to be more confident with it.
Well, since that timeout, both teams scoring their first points of the quarter. They were actually 0 for 3 for both sides. Leah King. She's drawing a lot of attention.
Basically 4 people around her, and that's when you leave Perkins open there. Just doing a really good job of being patient. She knows that the defense is going to come. Where is the open person? And Perkins coming to play today.
Washington still has the assignment of Tonie Morgan. Off the bounce, takes the bump, and a foul will be assessed against Washington.
You see here, really 4 people around her. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the three-pointer by Morgan. She has there the 4 people around her, and then just a really nice look there for Perkins. And that's not just Leah King, that's Perkins positioning herself so that King can see her. And really nice execution there.
Bella Perkins has 6 starts this season. And the first 3 and then the last 3. He's starting this one, though, 2 20-point games. Eight-point ball game. A lot of time left as Tonie Morgan, who had a slow start, actually scored her first bucket in the second half, now in double figures.
She's got a double-double. She did that against Virginia. Had a really slow start, but was just, oh, there's a foul right there. Was just, very resilient. Last year, one of the things that there was a little knock on her, was a little too emotional, got frustrated. I think she's done a better job with the mental aspect of the game and trying to find different ways to impact the game if she's not scoring. The first half, it was rebounding. That's her 4th block.
Yes. Also the 10th for the Panthers.
A little patient there, trying to get her coming off that cross screen. Still giving her an opportunity to go one-on-one here.
Still gets to the money spot on the floor. And don't look now, Helen. It's just a 2-possession ball game.
Well, you know what that happens, because the last time they had it help across the lane, they got a 3-point shot, so that time they laid off a little bit, and she had just enough space to go for that hook shot. That's not a good pass.
I tell you what, if there's anything that you could take away from this game is that Washington, if you see her on the other side of you.
You see here, she just needs a sliver. They don't come over to help as much because Perkins was over on that baseline the last time. They learned her lesson. She just needs a little bit of space.
Leah King, after that was deflected, is able to come up with an opportunity for the Panthers to score here.
Plenty of time here. Just want to be patient, execute, take your time.
Washington found the lane and took it. Pointed at Leah King for the screen at the top of the key. May not be called for the assist there, but Washington's giving her the credit.
Georgia Tech defense, there's been a lack of focus and communication and execution on that end.
Morgan. That's like a pro move. Already with the double-double.
I'm going to come back on this end and show you what I can do. You got to defend.
4th double-double for Morgan. 8th of Tonie's career as well. More ball movement, 5 on the shot clock. A lot of contact that King took underneath. Perkins may have lost where she was on the floor as Morgan dishes it off. Another block, but this one will be called as a foul against Leah King.
She must have gotten her with the body below because she had all ball there. That was a good defensive stance by Georgia Tech here. Let's see if she gets her with the body. I'll have to ask my friend Jeff about that. Okay, there we go.
So your friend Jeffrey Smith, Teresa Stuck, and Mark Berger on the call for the officials today.
But that all happened because they had a really good defensive stance there. Nice rotation, everybody good closeouts, and giving opportunity for the transition basket. Still want to get the ball to Leah King, and then you go from there.
3 bodies, 3 Georgia Tech jerseys around Leah King, and she still found a way to at least get it on the rim.
Well, I talked about Tonie Morgan probing that baseline. You're going to get the same thing from King when she gets that basketball at that free throw line area. She's going to turn and assess and see if there's a mismatch, and she's going to act accordingly.
Steal by Morgan. A block at the rim. She got her own block, though. Was able to finish on the second try.
I like the physical plays at the rim. Just like that, Georgia Tech has extended that lead.
Back here on the floor still for Georgia Tech, has 4 personals.
There's where that kid's valuable. She's going to come up with those loose balls and give Pitt extra opportunities.
The sophomore out of Fairmont, West Virginia, has been the blue-collar player so far for the Panthers in this one. Has 3 to work with. Tried to see if she can get it up and just could not find a good look for Jordan.
Yeah, just a lazy pass there. Too much under that and giving her the opportunity. Nice block here, nice physical play at the rim, and then sticking with it to get the 2-pointer.
So Georgia Tech with 12 points off of the 16 turnovers that the Panthers have in this ball game. 2:32 left in the 4th. You can see a conversation with the sophomore
Pittsburgh. I thought she did a really good job against Notre Dame. She's only got, I think, 16 minutes, but you see the change here with Washington's going out and then bringing in Timmerman, trying to get a little bit more offense. But see Tonie Morgan here, just been resilient again. Not a great first half, but coming back, ended up with a double-double already here. And last year, maybe that wouldn't have happened so much, but I think she continues to stay strong and try to do the right thing and not get so much into her head and find ways in that first half. Yes, she didn't score, but she had 8 rebounds, so she was still impacting the game. And then finally impacting with the score here in the second half.
So Georgia Tech out of that timeout gets the ball back. Currently on a 6-0 run. Morgan a big part of that as well as she dishes it out to Dunn in the corner. Timerson finds King on the baseline. The dig by Naredo, no good, as another attempt at the rim for the Panthers will send him at the free throw line.
So Georgia Tech gets the help, but they don't help the helper, and that's why they were able to get that shot there and the shot get to the free throw line here. You've got to help the helper when you have somebody come over.
So Carrie Dunn with 2 now as Rappalucci Iredell steps to the free throw line. Not a strong free throw shooter, knocks down the first. Actually got the start today as well. The previous start she had went back to November 29th. That was against St. Francis, so got her 9th start of the season. I think more than anything, as far as like the points that you look, how can you be productive? But what she does on the glass, you see the early attempt to turn over the Jackets mid-court.
And you need to be aggressive. You don't have to always do it in the full court there. Got to be aggressive here in the half court. But, time running out for Pittsburgh here.
Minute 45 left, and that's what they don't want to see as Inez Naredo knocks down another 3. A timeout will be assessed with Georgia Tech taking more time off the clock. and executing to perfection to push their lead to 67-56.
Again, Nogueira was just a quiet contributor to this team. She has 9 points, but hit some big shots for them when they needed it.
What's impressed you most about how Georgia Tech has responded to the runs of this hungry, really feisty Panthers team?
Well, just that they have responded. I think just, there were times during the game today where they just lost focus on both ends of the floor, but they were able to recover and keep the lead. They bend but not break, if you will. But that's going to have to change if they're going to be successful, the rest of the season. And then, Pittsburgh, I think, came out the second half, played really good defense, were aggressive, and they cut that lead down. But that's part of the growth process that Coach Fortner was talking about.
Yeah. You're
going to lose some focus, but what do you do after that? How do you get back, being aggressive? How do you get back making sure that you execute what we want to execute? And then especially there, the last play there, just coming down. No, it wasn't a press, but it was, an aggressive zone there, and then just being in the right place. Tonie Morgan she didn't panic. She just made the right pass. She saw the double team coming, and they were able to get the 3 out of it.
And here are the Panthers' upcoming schedule. It doesn't get much easier. Louisville just had a very convincing win over Duke. Boston College, who we talked about earlier, was able to take down Miami as well. Syracuse playing some of their best basketball at this point with De'Asia Fair.
I was just going to say, De'Asia Fair, if you haven't seen that kid play, you got to watch Syracuse. She is unbelievable. Everybody knows she's going to take the shot. She knows she's going to take the shot. And you still can't do anything about her. She's been a great addition coming over from Buffalo to Syracuse with Coach Leggett Jack. Got to go quickly here. Don't have a whole lot of time.
Blocked at the top of the key by Blackshear. Perkins can get that one off. 8 still left on the shot clock. Someone left underneath. But Perkins was able to get it off the rim. We'll see if it stays here, and it does. That was one look for Iredell underneath, waving, but a 3 is. Be a little bit more convincing for the Panthers right now, trying to see if they can get back into this one as Malcolm able to knock that one down.
Now here comes a full court press, trying to be aggressive. You've seen the blueprint here today if you're a team like Georgia Tech that you don't have a whole lot of dominant post players, how to play Pittsburgh, and they're going to have to work on getting off to a better start and getting the basketball in Leah Two King's hand early in the game, early in the offense, because they struggled with that today.
A travel called for Georgia Tech. And going back to both sides, if you're looking at the adjustments, we talked about the blocks. That was one good thing that the Panthers can continue to build on. Also, we saw a lot more triples to really pull out that defense. And you see so many people sinking in on Leah Two King, but also they got great points from their bench. They outscored Georgia Tech 18-0 in bench points. All of the points coming from Georgia Tech starters.
Yeah, just did a really good job of adjusting and getting better than they were on Thursday, and that's the goal for Pittsburgh.
So if there is no foul committed, and there is, so Bella Perkins will commit the foul there.
You see Coach Birdie here still trying to draw up something
there are
to make
no
sure.
there are no free throws that are going to be shot here. I think they thought that was a bonus free throw. 10.7 left. They actually want the foul.
They had 2 to give.
One more. As Gabby Hutcherson checks in the ball game, she'll come in for Rappalucci Iredell. And another foul, so they're getting the ball to Busanaide, who is a 68% free throw shooter coming into this ball game. Free throws on the way, and you can see Verdi trying to write something up or draw something up for his squad on the attempt coming back down the floor.
If you're Pittsburgh, you're happy that you're starting to shoot well from the three-point range in terms of going forward, but you've got to do a better job of getting off to a better start and finding ways. Obviously, you're going to get the ball to King early, but if it doesn't happen, you know, finding ways to make sure that you can still operate offensively and execute successfully.
Knocks down the second one. 6.5 left for the Panthers to work with on a final look on the offensive end. See what Tory Verdi was able to draw up. 2 seconds left. And Morgan, we'll see if that will go down as a steal as the game comes to a close. But Georgia Tech able to slightly outscore Pitt 15-13 in the fourth frame to get another win.